Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to talk about chapter 3, and we're going to start the first section in there. I think you're going to find this first section pretty easy. In fact, this whole chapter, not really a long chapter, and you're going to find it pretty similar a lot than the last section. But basically, what we're talking about is inequalities. Okay, so the first thing we got to talk about with inequalities is basically what inequalities means. Well, basically, what we're dealing with is greater than or less than. So the biggest thing people struggle with these greater than or less than is basically which way is it pointed. Just remember, the alligator always eats the bigger number. And, if this one says A is greater than B, well, you can always draw that little, I'm going to use green, that little alligator, right? A little high in there. The alligator is always going to eat the bigger number. So if this, this says A has to be bigger than B, okay? This would be A is less than B. If you see the underline, we know that is A is less than or equal to. If you see this one, this would be A is greater than or equal to. If you ever see an equal sign with a line through it, that means it's just simply not equal, okay? Now, first thing I want to talk about is how we draw these graphs. So if you see something that looks like this, okay, this would say x is less than 5. Well, we want to be able to draw that in a number line. What I want you to try to always do is put a 0 line in all your drawings. So 0 is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be over here, right? Now, that means we're going to have a point at 5. Now, if it's not underlined, we're going to use an open circle like that, okay? And then basically, we want to shade in the direction that it's kind of pointed. This says x has to be less than 5. So the numbers that are less than 5 would be to the left of that. So we would shade everything left of that 5. Okay? The next one, we would have to have a point at 3. So I'd put my 0 in. 1, 2, 3. Okay? We're going to have a point at 3. Okay, we're going to leave that circle open because it is not underlined. Okay, basically by not underlining, it means we're going to count all those points up to that point, but we're not actually including that particular point. Same thing here. It says x is greater than 3, so we want to shade in all the points to the right of 3, right? But we're not actually shading in that 3. We're going to leave that as an open circle, okay? If we see a closed circle, okay, -2 would be left of 0, okay? If you see it or equal to, the only difference is when we draw that circle, we're going to color that circle in. That means we want to also include that point. This is x is less than or equal to -2. So I would shade in all the points left of that point, including that point. Okay? This one would be x is greater than 4. So I have to have a point at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 would be to the right of 0. We'd have to have a circle at 4. It's or equal to. So I'm going to color that in. And then we're going to go to the right of 4 because that's greater than or equal to, okay? Now, we can do it that way, or we can go the opposite direction. Basically, if we see something that looks like this, well, we know that's x. We know we have a point at 3. It's everything shaded to the right of 3, so that's greater than 3, right? We're not going to put it or equal to because it's an open circle. This one, we have a point at -2. it's shaded to the left, which means less than. So x has to be less than -2. That's a colored circle. So we're going to put over equal to, okay? So these are fairly easy. So, I want you to try a few of these. I'm not going to go too much more in depth with these. I just want you to try some of these. Make sure you know how to draw the curves. And those are the types of things I want to make sure you are good at, okay? So, basically just to go through a couple of these real quick. If you look at number 10, there's a point at -2. So it's got to have a -2. That's less than or equal to. So it's got to be less than or equal to. Okay, colored in dot, it has to be equal to. This one is number 11 is an open circle, right? So it's not going to be underlined. It's everything to the right of that 8.5 point, right? -8.5. So it's going to be everything greater than -8.5. Okay. So I just want you to try some of those. We'll start this chapter out fairly easy, but and we'll go from there. All right.